Welcome to the Wellness Summit 2024. I am super excited to be here, super excited to have you here with us today. It's going to be an amazing summit. It's going to be an amazing time with an amazing lineup of speakers, amazing topics. You are going to have a great time. Now, I would like to introduce myself, and I'd also like you to introduce yourself as we get on with the program. My name is Adeola Babatunde, and I will be your host and MC for this summit. Now, I would like you to type in chat your name and where you're watching from. Please type in chat your name and where you're watching us from. Yes, we'd like to ensure that you are carried along in this summit. Now, as we go along, I'd like to share my personal wellness story as you're typing your name and your location in chat. A few years ago, after I had my second child, I felt like I needed a flat stomach. I wanted my tummy to be as flat as it was right before I had children, and so I signed up for Coach Olubukola Ogunwale's online fitness program. And when I signed up for the course, I saw changes. I saw changes in my diet, I saw changes in my body, I saw changes in my energy levels, my skin, my sharpness. I was sharp. My thought was sharper, my thoughts were clearer. I was just a changed person because of this online program. I was able to really tap into another energy level. I never knew that level existed. Basically, I was able to find new levels of energy. I wasn't as lethargic anymore. I wasn't as tired. I wasn't terribly sleepy at 10 a.m. or terribly sleepy at 3 p.m. or even 10 p.m. I'd have to advise myself to go to bed because I had extra energy. And I said, my God, this sort of life exists, and I've been living under a rock, not knowing, just living anyhow without wellness. This was the beginning of my wellness journey, and I said to myself, it's going to become a lifestyle. And today, I'm happy to announce to you that I have now embraced a different kind of lifestyle from that which I had before I joined Coach B's online fitness program. So thank you so much, Coach B, for welcoming me into this beautiful wellness journey. I know you have a lot. I know some of you have powerful stories and testimonies about wellness, but I would love you to let us know what you want to get from this session, from this summit. You see, this summit is packed. We have a lot planned for you. We have a lot from our speakers. We have a lot we want to share. However, we want to get your expectations for this session. So tell us, type in chat, why are you here? What are your expectations? You see, and as you type that in, I want you to get set, get ready for what is about to happen. Once again, welcome to the Wellness Summit 2024. To take us into the next item on the agenda, I'll be introducing the founder of the Wellness Summit, the woman who gathered us here today. She's the reason for this Wellness Summit. She's the founder, and she will be taking us on a short opening and introduction speech telling us why we're here and what to expect. But before she shows up, I'll be reading her bio. Bukola Ogunwale is a dynamic professional and renowned coach, widely recognized for her multifaceted expertise in legal advisory, business coaching, and personal development. Professionally, Bukola is a seasoned legal advisory executive and a certified fraud examiner with extensive experience in management, business strategy, and financial services law. She has built a distinguished career in legal and management consultancy, risk and business advisory, and entrepreneurship development, helping organizations achieve sustainable growth and mitigate risks effectively. As an entrepreneur, Bukola is a co-founder of iFitness Gyms, the largest and fastest growing fitness chain in Lagos, Nigeria, with branches across the region. With her fitness and wellness courses, she keeps transforming how individuals approach fitness and wellness, blending innovation with a commitment to holistic health. Known to her clients as Coach B, Bukola is a transformational coach whose impact spans personal growth, mindset shifts, and professional excellence. She has authored multiple books and developed flagship courses, including the Mindset Makeover course, the Fitness Mindset course, Optimize Wellness for High-Performing Professionals, and Rise for Women in Difficult Marriages. Each of her programs is tailored to inspire resilience, empower individuals, and foster sustainable change. Beyond her professional achievements, Bukola is a faith-based coach who seamlessly integrates faith with wellness. She empowers individuals to align their spiritual and physical well-being, facilitating a deeper connection with God while thriving in their personal and professional lives. Her work is a testament to her passion for helping others live balanced, purpose-driven lives and thrive beyond the 9 to 5. Would you, with a round of applause, welcome Bukola Ogunwale, the founder of the Wellness Summit.
Hi everyone, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Coach Adeola, for that warm inviting welcome. We feel at home already. And I want to say thank you to everyone that is joining us once again from everywhere all over the world. Now, this Wellness Summit is the second of its kind. We had the inaugural one last year, same period, November 2023, and this year it's becoming quite a tradition as we gather again this year to host the Wellness Summit. This year we're focusing on workplace wellness. You and I know that this is important. It is at the core of everything. Workplace wellness is not just for people in paid employment. It is for the employers of labor. It is for that person that left paid employment because they were overwhelmed and kept wanting to start their own business. But when they became the boss, they also realized that, well, you have to embrace wellness, even as a self-employed person, because if you don't, the same kind of stress or similar kinds of stress and overwhelm that you were confronted with while working for another would still come for you. In fact, on a higher level, because now you're the one that everybody reports to, you're the one that everyone is looking at for solution. So I want to thank you today for joining us as we dive into this issue that touches on every professional, regardless of your industry, regardless of your role, regardless of your level, there is a need for wellness in the workplace. Okay? Last year, we looked at much more than workplace wellness. We looked at all the different areas of wellness, but this year, we just have to zone in on workplace wellness because it is at the center of everything and everyone works. Everyone does one thing or the other, whether it's clearly defined or whether it's what you call hustling, but you know that you work to eat. And so the work place must become the hub of wellness. Why is this so? It is because in wellness, it is not just the employees that should be worried about being well, being healthy. The employers actually also have to be concerned. Statistics show us that 77% percent of employees report experiencing burnout in the office or on the job at least once in their current role. 77 whooping percentage, which means that more than 3/3 of the working population has experienced burnout at one point or the other. Okay. Also, statistics show that companies with effective wellness programs see a 25% reduction in absenteeism, 25% reduction in, I would like to take a sick leave. Oh, I'm not going to be turning up today. Something came up. I need to go run some tests. 25% reduction in all of those kind of excuses. Whether, I mean, they may be genuine excuses, but the fact is that they reduce when the wellness program of the organization is on point, is effective, and addresses the need of its employees. Also, it has been proven by, statistics have shown that 41% increase in productivity has been experienced by organizations that have an effective wellness program. This is why, as an employer, as a CEO, as an HR leader, as someone that leads a team, and as someone that works in a team, wherever you sit on the entire spectrum of workplace organizational efficiency, you must prioritize wellness, because if you want to see productivity increase, then you have to prioritize wellness. Many organizations that have fallen along the wayside, for some of them is because they didn't prioritize wellness of the employees, because they saw the employees as just another statistics, just another part of the organization, but they didn't prioritize the wellness, the health of the employees. And they thought that if they stack up all the indices that account for their success, they don't have to put employees' state of mind or employees' wellness at the core of it. They thought, oh, this one is negligible, and the bottom line paid for it. And so smarter organizations have started to see that if we're going to actually meet our bottom lines, if we're going to meet our productivity goals, then we have to prioritize employee wellness. Employees who feel supported in their well-being are 87% more likely to stay with their company longer than those who don't. So when people feel supported, when people feel seen, when people feel heard, when people feel catered to, they are likely to not be trying to find another job. Any employer will tell you the cost of hiring is not something to be played with. So if a company has a huge turnover, then there's problem, because they're going to keep having to hire new people. And then when someone gets into a role, they're going to need at least a month or more to settle into that role, to understand the processes, the culture of the organization, and to actually be able to hit the ground running, as we call it. So the cost of filling a vacancy is much more than, oh, someone left, someone else has come. The organization actually always has to suffer for it for a while. And so when organizations support their employees' well-being goals, those employees are 87% more likely to stay in that company more than organizations that do not support their goals. And today we are going to be looking at actually what support would mean to the employees, because employers over time have also sometimes made the mistake of adopting the latest fad and saying this is how we think it's cool to support our employees. So imagine all the times when your organization has announced that, oh, there's going to be a workout session on Friday right after work, and let's all meet in the cafeteria or in the hall, and people just carry their bags and go home. Not because they don't want to exercise, not because they're not used to exercising, but because they're struggling with so much more than that. And it's not just it's not just what is next for them. And so a company that has a messed up structure and systems that don't aid performance and enhance productivity, for instance, is joking if it thinks that what will help employees overcome overwhelm is to just organize the random workout session or the random yoga session or to organize a water challenge when the software that the employees are using for work is actually not achieving the purposes that they needed it to achieve, when the archiving system is off, when there's so much bureaucracy around changing a system that people can't just get work done, when even in places where there are systems and structures and different documents stating that this is how we do this and checklists and all of that SOPs, even when they exist, sometimes some little things sometimes will just crop out of nowhere and hijack a person's work day. Literally, it may be an angry customer who then demands for a meeting, has called management, and then we're trying to calm things. It may be a mistake made by a subordinate who was just recently hired and who is not, perfect for the role, but because there's high turnover in the company, this person who is a team lead has to work with people who are not as capable for the roles that he has to fill. So when you tell that person to join a water challenge or to join a 10K steps a day challenge, they're like, you don't even know. Like that is the last thing on their schedule. Like they're not even going to prioritize that, because if the company would just retain staff, if we would just buy this other software that helps us do the work better, if we would just train the customer care department so that they can respond to clients and we won't have customers hijacking the day. If we would just do this or do that, everybody knows what it is for them in their business. But that if the management would just prioritize this, then I will sleep better at night. If management will just make sure that this is done, then half of my problems are actually solved. And that person is not going to prioritize the 10K steps. And sometimes, of course, there are different strategies to make sure that everybody is aligning. So there's gifts that are being given, there's accountability groups, support groups, and all of that. And so sometimes people actually find themselves coerced into doing those wellness challenges, but then it becomes for them another stressful thing that they must do before they can make money, before they can take home a salary. And so they just tick the box and they move along, and as against the intention of the organization to make sure that their stress is alleviated, the organization would have effectively actually compounded their stress. So you can see that workplace wellness is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's not just about adding those perks and those, oh, let's just have a nice lounge where people can come and hang out, and take a minute or two away from work. It is more than that. It is addressing root causes of the challenges that employees are going through, because in the end it's going to impact the bottom line of the organization. So if you're an employer in the room, if you're a people leader, if you're a team leader, can you confidently say, I know the things that my team is stressed out about, and I know the solution to it, and I'm actively working on providing a solution to it? And if your answer is yes, then you're a great employer, you're a great leader, you're good people, you're good management. And what you should do next is then to say, let's prioritize providing these solutions so that our people can have the best of the best, so that our people can enjoy their lives. All right, so with workplace wellness, you can't do away with it. It's here to stay, and let's get over all the fads and let's start to actually embrace wellness as a way of life, even in the offices. Okay, even in the offices, the vision behind the wellness summit is that you should not have to you should not have to sacrifice your health or your well-being because you want to make money. And I remember when we were starting a fitness enterprise many years ago, and the example that I would always give is that young people are busy at work trying to gather money, But if they don't come into the gym, they are going to have to use that money to buy good health. So when people's knees start giving up on them and their backs start giving up on them, and just different illnesses, the body is depreciating different things that could be avoided just by embracing a lifestyle of wellness. And so I would give that example all the time at the time, that you should never sacrifice your fitness so that you can make money, because you are going to have to use that money to buy fitness if you're not careful. And while we don't pray for that for people, the handwritings on the wall will always speak for itself to reveal where a person is headed. And so that's it. But what I then started to realize after so many years of being in the gym environment is that a fit body, so I'm moving past saying do not compromise your fitness, you do not compromise your health because of work. I've moved past that. That's one level. The next level is a fit body is not equal to a well body. A fit body does not mean that you have actually embraced holistic wellness. It doesn't actually mean that you have a balanced life, okay? Because we have people who have all the six packs, and there are people who have all the six packs, all the muscles in all the right places, and all of that, but mentally they mess. They have not mastered mental wellness. And so, beyond trying to build the muscles, you also have to start embracing a lifestyle of wellness. You have to start having, congruence and saying to yourself, is my life balanced? Am I in the right place of mind mentally? Do I prioritize my mental health? Do I monitor what comes into my mind and what I speak? Do I monitor what I give access to myself and to my environment? What do I listen to? What do I do? Do I work in a toxic environment? Do I lead a business and I've created a toxic environment for the people that are working with me? All of this and more are things that you have to look at and you have to prioritize. You have to look at your productivity. And I'm so happy that Coach Ife is coming to speak to us today about productivity. If you're productive already, that's one of the solutions that will enhance your wellness, because that takes away the stress of deadlines and repeating work, having to redo work because you've not done a great work the first time. And just having systems and structures that can just enhance your productivity is going to enhance your well-being ultimately. Okay, also personal branding. Personal branding is key to wellness. Is key to wellness. Who are you? Who do you know yourself to be? Who do people know you to be? Sometimes even people who are high flyers in their organizations, you find out that outside the organization, nobody knows them. And so they have put their entire fate in the hands of their employer. And because the employer knows that, then they do anything they like to them. Promotions are held back and nobody can complain. Salaries are paid erratically. Some months salaries are not paid for weeks and all of that, and different other things that can introduce stress into a person's life. And you expect this person to be okay with this and to business as usual and to show up with 100%. If they're showing up, I'm telling you, the version of them that is showing up is not the one that you want working on your business, because they're stressed out, they have bills to pay, they're wondering if they should not be sharing their CV all over the place. All right. So in today's session, we're going to have to look at financial wellness as well. You and I know that when there is money in the bank, there's a level of, satisfaction and peace of mind that you feel. And of course, sometimes, even if the money is not sitting in the bank, when you're sure of where your money is and how it's yielding an interest for you, then you're like, okay, I'm good. Everything's gonna be fine. I've invested it. It's gonna bring a return. So financial wellness is right there. It's right there with physical wellness, with mental wellness, with personal branding, with confidence at the workplace, and all of the other things that we're going to be looking at today. So I want to welcome you once again. I want to ask that you please sit tight and enjoy yourself. So many things that you'll be learning today. And just if you haven't, go invite all your friends. Go put this link on your platforms, put it on your WhatsApp status, put it on your social media platforms, and get people to join in, because you are in for a great experience today. You'll be learning a lot that is relevant to how you live your life, to how you live a maximized life. Okay? So quickly before I leave, quickly before I leave, I want to share with you five things that an employer must do, and five things that an employee must do. Many of them I've already referenced, but I would still like to just mention them. If you're going to prioritize wellness, if you're going to prioritize wellness in the workplace, then for employers, they must be focusing on these five things. And I must mention that this list is not exhaustive, all right? There's so much more that can be done. But the first thing is that as an employer, if you're going to address workplace wellness at its root, then stop hosting generic programs. Stop ticking off the box and saying, okay, for HR, for this quarter, we were supposed to run a wellness challenge, and that is why we did the drink 8 cups of water a day challenge, and we got 50 or 60% of staff members to participate, and fine, we have done a great wellness deed. No, you have to offer personalized wellness programs. You have to look at what problems are employees encountering and tackle the real challenges that they are facing. It's sometimes as easy as just buying, laptop elevators for all the employees, for everyone, so that their laptop is at the level of their face and they're not having to bend their necks or elevate their necks and injure their spinal cord and all of that. Sometimes it's as simple as changing everybody's desk to those desks, those chair tables, that if you press a button, it's going to elevate, and you can do your work standing, and you can do your work sitting, and it gives people the opportunity to sit and stand and stretch their bodies while working. Sometimes it's as simple as setting prompters that pop up on the laptops. You know how we do it these days for cyber security, just setting those prompts and reminding them to stand up and stretch, to get up and stretch. And as an employee, of course, you must know the simple exercises that you can do at your desk. Okay, you must know that. All right. So let's overhaul away with all of these generic wellness programs, and let's zone in on what our employees really need, so that whatever is causing the overwhelm, excessive workloads, tight deadlines, we can see how we can reduce that, and we can implement better workload management strategies, so that their stress levels will drop and the productivity will increase. Okay, this is one way that a sustainable impact can be made on the wellness of employees in any system. The second thing that employers must look at doing is that they must invest in the well-being of the employee. I know it sounds like the first one, but it's also different. Okay, sometimes some things as simple as having childcare support, letting people have flexible work schedules, letting people take a mental health day, career development opportunities, actually offering the shares of organizations to employees so that they can be a part of the growth journey and be able to max out when this company blows. Those are some of the things that employees can look at and feel valued and feel treasured and feel a sense of well-being, that I'm not just building for a salary, I'm building something that I own a part of. And I'm telling you that what they own may just be 0.0.0.01 of a share, but it adds up. So employers should actually look at, and I know that this is a concept that some companies do, but more companies need to start embracing things like this. Let's normalize organizing programs to teach employees on how to budget. Let's normalize, programs that teach them on how to have multiple varied investments in different areas of life. The typical employee these days has a side also, runs an NGO by the side, and helps their spouse out in their business. So most people are working more than one job. And if for people who are not even working like multiple jobs, they still have different things that they have to pay attention to. So people are married, they have children, they have family members that they need to be there for. We have to normalize, you know, identifying the fact that the work is not 100% who this person is, and they must be able to do the work in a way that enables them to do other things that fulfill them. All right, because when the person's sense of fulfillment is met, then they are calm, they're able to stay and actually do the work. They're not spending half the time imagining they're working somewhere else where there's a flexible work schedule. Some companies do not even remit their employees what's that thing called, pension. They don't even remit it to the pension organizations. And you expect this person to work as if they want to die. But the things that can secure their future and give them peace of mind, you're not having them do it. And the funny thing is that for employees, you know, and I hope we're going to talk about that when we start talking about the 5 things for employees. But the funny thing is that employees, you find out that they would, when they are overburdened with work, they throw everything else out of the window. So this person is working hard year in, year out, and they're not even checking whether their pension is being remitted, to the pension fund administrator. They're not checking if the pension fund administrator they're using is a viable one, and what are they investing the money in. They're just working. They're just working for the take home that finishes before next month. They're not trying to say, how can I pick an amount and just buy shares, you know, invest, partner with someone to go start something. And so those are the things we're looking at today. Those are the things we're trying to address today to make sure that we are not that person. All right. So employers must, have uh, a sense of what will we do to make sure that the employees feel valued. When they feel valued, it will increase the sense of well-being. The third thing that employers must do is that they must strategize with systems and structures. They must say, let's have systems in place. And I've spoken about this, so I'm not going to overbeat it. Let's have systems, let's have structures, let's have tools, let's have equipment that is going to make the work easy for employees. Sporadic efforts is not going to yield lasting results. You must actually create systems and structure in this day of, VUCA, BANI, NUCA, different things where the business world is saying, look, everything is volatile, everything is uncertain, everything is complex. We don't even know what we are doing. The business world is brittle. You can't even like we can't even predict. It's unpredictable and different on other things. And they are right. In times past, you could look at the data and it's telling a story. And we know that if we align to this place based on the data we're seeing, then we should be able to see this result as we go forward. But in today's workplace, ecosystem, nothing is assured, nothing is ensured. Nothing, the data can be telling a story and something is introduced that just changes the course of everything for everybody. And so employers have their work cut out for them. A company that is, neck deep in bureaucracy is going to struggle because it's not going to be flexible enough to move with the times. And so employers management must always make sure that the system is agile and it's able to just move with the times, while at the same time retaining the core of what has made it successful over the years. Okay, so there must be systems in place. There must be heavy investment in what will make the work done. So beyond this is what will make the work easy. Let's even look at what will make the work done. All right. So we're not even just talking now about wellness tools. We're talking about normal work tools. Some people, the laptops they're given at work, it doesn't work. Every other week they have to go and drop it for IT. IT keeps it and works on it for 3 days. 3 days when work is piling up. and nobody else is going to do your work, so it's just piling up. You're missing deadlines. You get the laptop back, it takes 1 hour to boot, and all of that. No, do better. If you're an employer of labor, do better. Invest in tools and equipment that can give the employees peace of mind and get them to get their work done, fast. The fourth thing, and I think that when I finish with the five things that employers must do, I'm going to get out of your faces and give our speakers the time of day for them to teach us, because I'm really excited about the lineup for today. And then I'm going to come back later and talk to us about the five things that employees must focus on. So sit tight, do not go anywhere. I'm going to come back. The fourth thing that employers must do is that they must build a business that benefits everyone. Just build a successful business. And I know it's not that easy, but I mean, it will be easy for you. Just build a successful business. When employees see the level of effort that employers are putting, when they see that this person is actually working hard and the hard work is yielding results, they are going to be able to focus on their own roles and showing up without having to start, sharing their CVs all over the place and being worried about job security. So every time you have it in your employment letters, offer letters, that salaries will be paid on the 25th of every month. And 26th, the salary is not paid. 27th, the salary is not paid. 28th is not paid. Just know that you're tuning a particular frequency in the mind of the employee that says, is my job secure? Do I have job security? And when a person starts thinking that way, it is difficult for them to focus on their roles and on peak performance. All right. So let's get rid of erratic paychecks. Let's get rid of, things that may make it look like you don't know what you're doing or the organization is not doing well. I mean, if the organization is not doing well, then there should be a proper conversation. Let's know where the issues are. Let everyone know where they fit in and what they can do to make sure that the organization is actually doing well. Okay, so let there be inclusiveness. Let everything not just be vague and people are wondering what's going on and people are like, are we going to have a job in a month's time? And employees talk. That's something that management, when people get to management positions, they forget how they were when they were staff members. Employees would always talk. So you have people who are maybe in finance and they're seeing all the figures. They're telling their friends in other departments and everybody is worrying. And then you see this worry is becoming a corporate culture that is creeping around and crippling people and stopping them from being at their peak performance level. So you want to quickly nip that in the bud and let everybody be aware of this is your role. If you do it this way, then you have helped us in a journey towards profitability. Okay. So give your employees a sense of security that will ensure that they actually, that's mental health. That will make sure that their mental health is preserved. Last but not the least, if you're an employer of labor, if you're management, if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a team lead, you must be a role model. We cannot just be touting this wellness thing by just speaking about it again and again. We must show it in how we show up. Okay, so for instance, if you're the leader of the organization and you say, let us make working hours strict. So I don't want to see anybody in this office after 6 p.m. Oh, I expect everybody to, shut down at 8 p.m. But you just had a meeting at 5:30 p.m. and you gave deliverables that people have to go work on and give an update tomorrow morning's meeting at 8 a.m. So what time do you actually expect the person to get the stuff done? That means you are indirectly saying, do it in the evening, do it overnight, do it in your own time, okay? I don't care how you do it, just get it done. Are there organizations and, industries that are fast-paced and people literally have to show up, consistently highly tuned, wired to let's get it done. Yes, but even in those environments, there must be wellness initiatives that help you to take a break and to take a step back and to pause and to refresh every day and to sort of dump every day and pick it back up again so that you can have a holistic lifestyle, so that you're not overwhelmed. All right, every time you're sleeping and you're dreaming about that deliverable that you have at work, or you're sleeping but mentally it feels like you're still on your laptop trying to solve that issue, then you are not withdrawing daily, and that is the path to overwhelm. You must daily withdraw. When you've done, and that's why productivity again is key. When you've done all you need to do, you've done your part, you've shown up 101%, then you withdraw. It's almost like you're removing a heart and you focus on family, on home, on what brings you joy, on who brings you joy. All right? And that's how you can come back tomorrow feeling fresh and happy to pick up your work heart again and get stuff done. And are there instances when, for instance, you have to go for an evening cocktail or something that helps you to network and bring business to the organization? Yes. So these things are not cast in stone, but as long as you are able to iterate and to know when to stop and when to rest and when to go on, then you are doing well. So for employers, when you send that mail at 5 a.m., you're setting an example and saying to your staff member, you better be responding at 5 a.m. So regardless of what you say, what you do is what people are going to watch. So when they see you also now working out, when they see you enjoying other areas of your life, then they will identify and realize that, okay, as an organization, we are actually fine with having a balanced life, and they're going to relax and have a balanced life. And I promise you, when they're in this state of mind, when they're not overwhelmed, they're not burnt out, it is the best state for them to be productive for your organization. So wellness must start from the top. Leaders must embody the values that they want to see in their teams. Thank you, everyone. Sit tight, okay? I'm going to leave you with this assignment, and then I'll come back later. All right, and here's your assignment. I want you to write for me on a piece of paper all the different areas of your life, all the different things that are important to you, people that are segments of people that are important to you. And then on the other side of the paper, draw a line and write for me how much of your time, for instance, in a day or a week, let's say a week, do you spend on those things that are important to you? So your list may be looking like work, God. God is important, his priority is number one. So there's God, there's work, there's family, there's friends, there's, for people who are living a life of impact, there's that orphanage that you're volunteering at, or that adult education center that you're volunteering. So there's charity and voluntary work, and different other things depending on what's important to you. I want you to then write how many hours a week do you put in each of these areas of life. And if your graph is looking lopsided, which means that work is taking like 80% and every other thing is sharing 20%, then there's a problem. And that's why you're in class, for us to fix the problem. Okay, so make sure you do this assignment. I'll come back and I'll ask you questions about your results. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to hand this over back to Coach Adela so that she can introduce us to our next speaker. I promise you the lineup is fantastic. We have Coach Doing, she's a marketing expert. She's coming to talk to us about personal branding. We have Coach Ife, she's a productivity guru, and she's going to talk to us about a productive lifestyle. And of course, we have Coach Adela. She is a public speaking coach, which means that she is the queen of confidence. And beyond being a compare today, I tell you that she's going to be dropping the gems, and I want you to be snatching them as she's dropping them. So over to you, Coach Adela. Take it away.
Wow, thank you so much, Coach B, for telling us a lot more about the Wellness Summit, helping us understand wellness much deeper. If you listen to Coach B, you know now that you need to take your wellness seriously. You need to pay attention to your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit. You need to really, really pay attention because this is the vessel that God has given you that you are going to be using to achieve everything else that God has put in your heart. So, to move us on to the next item on the agenda, I will be introducing our next speaker, who is going to be talking to us about productivity tips for thriving beyond the workplace. If you're excited about this, get your notepads, get your pens as I read her bio. Ife Freeman is a proficient life work optimization coach, author, podcaster, and health safety and emergency management professional. She excels in helping young professionals and mothers re-engineer their mindsets for success, co-create systems, structures, and processes that allows them to balance career, family, business, and other domains in life. As a podcaster, Ife has two series, namely The Abigail Code, which caters to women in challenging seasons in their marriages, and Read Along with Me, an audio devotional designed for kids. Additionally, Ife is a published author of two books, a productivity journal and a devotional for kids. With her extensive experience and expertise, Ife believes that all things can be achieved with the right structure in place. She's known to help individuals achieve their goals with ease and efficiency. Ife Freeman is married and has two adorable kids. And without further ado, would you please, with a round of applause, welcome our next speaker, taking us on productivity tips for thriving beyond the workplace, Ife Freeman.
Hello, welcome once again to Thrive Beyond the Workplace. I am so sure that you are gaining insights that you need in order to have what I call life work balance. And as I'm saying life work balance, I need you to understand that balance is not necessarily in the middle. And that's what I'd like to talk about today. My name is Ife Freeman, and I'm happy to take you on a journey regarding productivity. So, when I want to speak about productivity, the first things that I want you to know is what could impact on your productivity prior to me going to the definition of productivity. The first thing that could impact on your productivity is your mindset. Now, there are those people who solidly believe that whatsoever is placed on their hands, they can do. There's just that agency, that belief that you've got agency and you can do certain things. When you start from there, knowing that, you know what, if it has been committed to my hands, I can do it. Knowing that you can do it is actually the first step. However, there are lots of people that do not know that they can do certain things. They probably have the agency to do it, but they have lots of things beneath the surface. And when I talk about lots of things beneath the surface, I'm talking about their subconscious conditioning. Things have happened in the past. And I'll give an example. You failed an exam, and then the exam, you're meant to retake it or rewrite it. And somehow you just feel from the start, you already feel that you can't hit it. Why? Because that thing is auto-correcting you. That past failure is already auto-correcting you, is auto-correcting your actions. And if we do not deal with all those things that lie beneath your subconscious conditioning, it will always auto-correct you. So let me give an example. Anytime I'm given a task and I find it a little bit challenging, the first thing I ask myself is, or if I'm not hitting the goals, maybe I set a timeline and I am not hitting my goals based on that timeline. I ask myself, what is my mindset? What's powering me here? Is it, even if I feel like I can do it, I dig in deeper. Is there a pattern here? Is there something that has occurred in the past that is inadvertently auto-correcting me? I need to know. It actually starts from your mind. You actually have to believe that you have agency. You have to build self-efficacy, the ability to consistently do. And sometimes the only way you can even build that, aside from understanding what's beneath, is knowing what your strengths are. So when you walk towards your strengths, because we have that general belief sometimes that what, when it comes to my weaknesses, let me try and tweak my weaknesses a bit. Let me do this in this part, do this in this other part in order for me to be better. But you know what? When you walk towards your strengths, there's something that is your strength, right? You are good at. So I'll give an example. I'm good at taking, it doesn't look productive, taking my kids out, going to a movie and actually focusing on that movie. In the past, I was not that way, by the way. I would go for a movie with them and I would fall asleep. But I am good at that. And when I do that with them, they actually feel that sense of bonding and connection. That's even on a very, should I say, low level. When I talk about strengths again, when I was working in a particular organization, that particular organization, in my role there had to do with a lot of going out and speaking to people. That was not my strength. But when I moved to another organization where the role sort of like complemented my strength of writing procedures, creating processes, I was seen as super productive, right? So your productivity starts with your mindset. Then you also have to know how to leverage your strengths because there is a genius within you. You might feel like that sounds strange right now, probably because there are some things beneath the surface that have consistently auto-corrected you, making you feel that you are not productive. So you're sort of like telling yourself stories, and that's the third thing, your narrative. What are you telling yourself? There are times that we're telling ourselves stories based on things that have occurred, and there are other times that we're acquiring other people's stories and repeating it. So, for instance, someone just randomly says, "Life is a hustle. This economy is so hard. You need to, when you work, you need to work super hard." Now, I'm not diminishing the importance of working, right? But when you keep repeating that, and the person has said it that, in fact, most of the times when I work, I don't think my income is commensurate to the efforts I put in. When you keep repeating that, that's a narrative that is also auto-correcting you. Sometimes we even repeat it jokingly. We take on these wrong narratives and we feel like we are joking, but you don't understand that power lies in your mouth, power lies in your words. And sometimes these words too are crafted from our subconscious conditioning. Now, if you have a conditioning that has been impacted as a result of certain things, the first thing to do is to go back and determine that what happened here and then make peace with that incident. So I'll give an example. Let's say I wrote an exam in the past and I failed, right? And every time I want to write exams, I am getting nervous about it. My first step is to go back and ask myself what happened then. Oh, you know what? To be totally honest, what happened then was I didn't prepare well enough. Well, right now, what am I going to do in order to use that as a springboard so that it's not auto-correcting me not to be productive in that area, but I am using it as a springboard in order to leverage it and move higher. Your narrative is very important. And let me restate again, the first thing that you need to know with regards to your productivity is your mindset. Then number two, you need to be able to walk to your strengths. Number three, you need to understand the narrative, what you are saying, the stories you are telling, and then reframe those stories. Then the fourth thing I'd like you to know is understanding times and seasons. You might be in a season in your life where you are productive, probably at night. And I'll give the example. When I only had one child, my high and peak period for getting things done at that point was at night. But by the time it got to two children, that season had moved. I'm now more productive early in the morning. So you need to understand your energy levels. You also need to understand times and seasons. And within that season, what are you meant to be doing? So for instance, if a farmer goes to the farm, right, and then it's probably dry season and they are not supposed to be planting corn when it's dry season, or should I say yam when it's dry season? Maybe they are meant to plant it during rainy season. When they do when they plant at that point, that plant will probably not germinate properly. Why am I sharing that with you? You need to understand the season you are in and what productivity means for you in that particular season. Productivity is different for everyone. You might be someone who is a full-time career professional, and also you've got two or three kids with no help, or sometimes you've got help. The question at that point is, what does productivity mean for you? And you need to be able to answer that. What does it mean at the end of the week or at the end of the day? What are my success metrics? What defines the fact that I have put a system in place and I have been able to not just spend time at work, because this is Thrive Beyond the Workplace, right? But also spend time with key people in my life. Also spend time, should I say, exercising. What makes that week productive? Is it just my career or is it my all-round wellness? And that's something I'd like you to think about. Now, the next thing I'd like to discuss really is, what is productivity? Some people feel that productivity is doing a lot of things at, being able to churn out a lot of results. Of course, it's linked to your output, right? However, productivity is actually doing the right things at the right time. And you need to know that. So it's not about the numbers. Of course, people look at numbers, but it is doing the right things at the right time. So, what's the right thing? And that's always an interesting question. What's the right thing for me to do at this particular time? Is the right thing for me to do to spend time with my family? And who even determines the right thing? Because I'm a person of faith, I believe that God determines the right thing. And at the same time, I could sit down with what you call a life compass and carry out a wholesome assessment and then look through the 12 different parts and decide that, you know what, these other parts are bleeding. And if, for instance, my career could be flourishing, however, my family life is bleeding, or my relationship, the way I connect with friends, and should I say networks and alliances, or my personal branding is bleeding, you need to be able to have that wholesome approach to your life whereby you look at the life compass, which is a 12-part system, and then you say, okay, these are the parts that are bleeding. These are the parts that can actually be automated at this point because I've spent so much time in them. So for the next 90 days, I am going to focus on one, two, three, four, five. That's actually how to determine what's important. You also have to understand the law of priority. What's your priority at that time? Because, of course, I could have five things I'm focusing on. I could be focusing on my spirituality. I could be focusing on my general health and wellness because, maybe that has gone down the drain, or it's something that is quite important. For some people, health and wellness can be automated already because they already have a system in place whereby they are consistently, it's second nature. They exercise daily, they eat right. However, there are some people that part has actually gone down the drain. And you actually have to focus on it intentionally and set up a system that works for that section, And it could be, yes, I'm focusing on my spirituality, my health and wellness, my career, and, I'm a family person and my personal brand, or I want to focus on, pick those things, three or four or five, really, and then create a system around it. So you have to understand the law of priority, and let me run you through that. There's a matrix that you could use to determine what is urgent and important, what is not urgent but important, what is not urgent and not important, and what is what do you call it? Not important and not urgent. Now, if it's not important and not urgent, you need to delete it. So if you always have a long to-do list, I want you today, one of the things you should take back from here is to actually go through that list, the list of the various activities that you have to execute per time, and ask yourself, is this urgent and important? Of course, it's urgent and important if the deadline is soon, because the urgency has to do with the deadline, right? The importance has to do with maybe the fact that it's something that has been, should I say, pre-booked by your manager at work, right? So it's urgent and important. Now, for some people, their health and wellness is urgent and important because you've probably gotten a report that you need to lose weight, or you've gotten a report that, oh, you know what, you've got high blood sugar. That's not you. But I mean, at that point, you're already thinking that what are the things that I need to include in my daily routine in order for me to ensure that I am a fully healthy person because the body that he has given to me, I should be able to carry it and steward it right, right? And you now when we move to things that are important but not urgent, you need to be careful about those things because you know what? Those things can be left and then it moves to the stage of it being urgent and important. Let me explain. Your health and wellness is important, but it might not look urgent to you right now because you've got no reports. You've got nothing. You feel like you are moving well. You don't know if you are being impacted by stress because you are not exhibiting symptoms. So you feel that, you know what, life is beautiful. It's important, but it's not urgent. So sometimes we tend to pack things like that. It's important to spend time with your children, with your husband, with your family, with your friends. It's an important thing to build relationships, but if it's not urgent, then you tend to pack it. You tend to focus so much on your career, probably because your career sometimes you have so many deadlines that you are chasing. And then you leave that thing that is important but not urgent, not understanding that you are a wholesome person and that you are meant to actually plan your life effectively. In order for you to be productive, you have to be doing the right things at the right time. So that thing that is important but not urgent is also important that you spend time there. That you put it on a schedule. You don't have to consistently be on the urgent and important axis, consistently killing fires. Because you know what? If you are consistently chasing a deadline every single day, it's a deadline, you will get burnt out because you are programmed at that point to be consistently on high. And then when you get home to your family or when you are hanging out with your friends, they say something little and you lash out. Then you feel like, you know what, life is beautiful. I'm fine simply because I'm the kind of person that says what's in my mind. But you do not understand that those things are impacting on you. And because you've not effectively planned and created a system that enables you to be productive all round, it's impacting on you and then you are getting stressed and you are probably moving towards the burnout stage, but you do not know, you know. So we've spoken about things that are important but not urgent. We've spoken about the urgent and important things. We've spoken about things that are not urgent and not important. We said those things should be deleted totally, right? Now, when you think about things that, should I say, they are urgent but not important, things like that could be someone else's deadline. It could be someone else's deadline that you can actually delegate to someone else. And you need to understand that when it comes to productivity, you have people around you that can help. You can delegate and ask for help. So even if you are in a system whereby there is no help, learn to leverage relationships, right? And learn to build relationships with people and get the required help that you need. Now, relationships, when I come into that, I think about it as a two-way street. So it has to be value adding for both parties, right? And value adding is not necessarily like for like. So I am adding value to you by maybe helping you with school runs does not necessarily mean that the way you add value to me is by also replicating by doing those school runs. You might be adding value to me because we spend quality time together chatting. You might be adding value to me because maybe you usually get me books from somewhere and then maybe we read together. It does not necessarily have to be like for like. I mean, in some instances, it's like for like because you are a professional. The person is a professional and they've decided that on Mondays and Tuesdays, I am free to do the drop-offs and pickups, and you are free Wednesday to Friday. So it's like for like. But you need to be able to assess that and then learn to delegate, learn to ask for help because it's not everything that is on your to-do list that you are meant to do. So when you look at your list again this week, I want you to ask yourself, everything here, can someone else do it? Can someone else even kickstart the process and I finish it? You need to be able to understand what that means for you. You need to be able to understand that that's the effective way for you to prioritize and then ensure that you are doing the right things at the right time. So now let's move to effectively planning your week. Effectively, and I want to build this system with you so that you understand how to utilize it, not just for, should I say, not just for your career, because we are thriving beyond the workplace, right? Also for different areas of your life. So I want to speak about what you call the plan, do, check, and act cycle. The planning stage is the first stage for productivity. Most people do not want to do this, but you know what? If you fail to plan, then you're actually planning to fail. So if you play, especially when we are thinking about the law of priority and the matrix I spoke to you about, if you fail to put things that are important but not urgent within a plan, you are going to leave them till they start bleeding. So if you are a career professional, understanding that there's life outside the workplace is quite important, and then trying to put those things, infuse those things into your planning system to ensure that you have a time whereby you are focusing on different core areas, and I call them core areas of life. So you've done the life cycle assessment, right? And you've determined that maybe spending time with your family, aside from that, spending time with your significant other, your spouse is quite important this year, right? Or should I say for the next 90 days? And maybe there's something in your career you really want to get promoted, and you're like, okay, so this is the next stage. But in order for me to get promoted, do I need to add some degrees? Do I need to do a certification? What is that thing? What are the big core areas? And I'm calling them big core areas, right? Do I need to build my personal brand and the way I show up, even at work? You understand? Do I need to learn to communicate effectively? Are these areas that I need to build on? Do I need to build my walk with God when it comes to your spirituality, you know? And for some people, the spirituality is already, and when I say something is already automated, is something that you already have a system for, and that system is working. So at the beginning, when you talk about planning, you have to first determine what those core goals, core areas of life are. After determining the core areas, then you have to ask yourself that for this week, what step moves me closer to the what I want to see in this core area? So there is no, and the one thing I forgot to mention is there is no productivity without vision. Vision, a place that you are going to, an end goal where you are getting to, right? So during the planning phase, I'm looking at my vision for my family, and I'm saying, okay, within this vision, I've realized that I need to spend effective time with my 8-year-old and my 15-year-old. This is what I want to do with my 15-year-old. This is what I want to do with my 8-year-old. All this happens within the planning phase. But one thing that I've realized that mistakes that people make when it comes to the planning phase is we under, should I say, we overshadow, we minimize the task itself or the activity itself. So let me give an example. I've decided I want to go to the movies with my daughter, and then I schedule that movie time for 1 hour, not fully understanding that when I get to the cinema, the movie will probably run for 1 hour, 30 minutes, or yeah, 90 minutes thereabouts. And I have to drive to the cinema and drive back. So sometimes people overschedule because you are not conscious of the time it would actually take. And sometimes, and that's why productivity also starts with self-awareness, which I should have said at the beginning. You actually have to know yourself. You have agency, right? But you need to understand that when there is something that is within your strength, sometimes you might be quicker in executing it. But when there's something that is within, should I say, it's new, it might take a longer time. So you need to be able to extend that grace and give yourself extra time for it whilst you are planning. And then you need to also plan for regular things that could occur. Some people plan. They carry out this planning thing and they forget that they are supposed to do certain things at certain times. And let me give the example. I have to cook dinner at a particular time every evening. And then there was a season whereby my daughter, my youngest daughter, used to come home with assignments every day. The assignment involved her reading and a parent starting up a timer, of which, yes, she ended up learning how to start up the timer for her, but the parent also signing, the book that she's done it. And For me as a parent, I actually wanted to consistently listen to her read to be sure that she was getting the word. So it wasn't just, you know what, sit with your book and do it. With my older daughter, she's in at that season where I tell her, you know what, sit with your homework, do your homework yourself. It's just make sure you do it. But with my youngest, I had to spend that time and I had to create a system for it because it was getting to a stage whereby I would get home and I would dive straight into the kitchen and then make dinner. And somehow, when it's like bedtime, or I wake up in the middle of the night and then remember that my daughter hasn't done her assignment simply because I didn't create a system for it. So I had to add it to my planning, right? And I had to understand sometimes that, you know what, on weekdays after work, when it comes to my personal business and things that I need to do, I might not be able to fully give a time slot for starting because I get back from work sometimes at 5:30 p.m., sometimes at 6 p.m., depending on what the time is. And I need to be able to do the homework with my daughter and also cook for my family, make dinner. And before I can settle in to do something, it's potentially 7:30. So I usually have general themes, right, for my day. So if I have to go somewhere else, like this time I was going for a voice training activity every Monday, I'd get back home in the long run at probably 7:30. The only thing I could sometimes put into Mondays after work was reading a book. And there were other days that I would get back home and say, can't read that book. I just need to rest. So your planning phase, you need to take cognizance of things that are, should I say, usual that occur, so that you are not setting up a time for, should I say, a part of your core goal, that thing that you are doing to hit maybe a level with your family. You are not setting up the time at the wrong time, and then you are stressing yourself out or feeling like, you know what, being able to effectively plan my time in order for me to achieve productivity does not work. No, there is a way that you can do it to ensure that it works. You have agency, you have the ability to make that change in your life, and you need to be able to work those things out. And I'll still get to the part whereby you can review those actions, right? So I look at those core things, repeating that again, and I set up a timeline for it. Now, in order for me to, so let me explain this clearly. In order for me to set up a solid timeline, there are times I use an app called Tick Tick. Then for those things that are important but not urgent, I use my Google Calendar. Why? Because I have a reminder system on my Google Calendar. So I'll give this example. At the beginning of each term, the teacher for the class would send the calendar for the term, saying that okay, maybe on this particular day there's going to be this drama thing on this particular day, and they give it to you for the full 12 weeks, right? So it's now up to me. So that's important because sometimes you have to show up sometimes in your kids' activities. So I look at it, but I understand I cannot show up for everything. I pick those things I want to show up for, then I set them in my calendar, give myself a 1 or 2 week reminder, and I also ensure I take time off work because you know what, I'm a wholesome person. I've got a family too that I want to focus on. I take that time off work and I go for that activity. And I give my workplace to enough notice. So as I'm finding out beginning of the term, I'm not going to my manager a day prior or on the day to say, sorry, I need to do this. I give her enough notice to let her know that this is going to occur. But I pop that in my Google Calendar simply because maybe the timeline is far away, but I still need to be reminded in order for me to be able to take effective action on that day. Now, for things that are urgent and important, so they have a particular due date, a timeline for it to be executed, I use the Tick Tick app. Now, the Tick Tick app helps me in that I can tick that particular activity off the list, right? Or if I do not take it, then I ask myself, I bring myself to the review process, which we will still talk about, and then move the goalpost, right? So, in everything I've said, when it comes to planning, if you do not plan effectively, then you cannot execute excellently. You cannot execute seamlessly. You cannot execute intentionally. It's almost like if you do not spend that time planning, you are not living life by design. You are living it by default. So if I don't put systems in place to ensure that I am focusing on these core areas of my life every single week, then I am living on autopilot. I'm living on default. I am going to take on and then execute things that are not urgent and not important, or I will be doing things that are, should I say, urgent and important urgent and not important that I could delegate to someone else. So as I look at the different things I need to do, I determine if it's urgent and important. It goes into my tick app because I want to know. I want to have that at my forefront. I want to know whether I've done it or not. Now, I was talking about the plan, do, check, act, circle. Let's move on to do. Do is the execution part. If you've not effectively planned, you can't execute. And if you've not effectively put in prompters, I was talking about the Tick app, that's a prompter to remind me that it's time for me to do it, then I would not effectively execute at that time. Now, some pitfalls to execution is when there are things that are outside your control that occurs. And let me give an example. You've created that plan for the week, and then something happens. And maybe you are called to a child's school to pick up the child because the child is unwell at that time. Then everything that you've got, even those urgent things on your Tick app, you cannot at that point effectively do them, right? But instead of sitting back and being a victim, at that point, you should be able to look and then check that what time do I have for the remaining part of the week whereby I can move these activities to. And let me tell you my trick, what I utilize. When I plan my week on Sundays, I leave my Saturdays free. Now, because for me, if something changes, it's not with regards to career, it's regards to certain things, maybe in my business, because something has happened, maybe a child has been unwell and I've had to leave work. But for work, I'm in an organization where it's family friendly, so it's easy for them to understand that I've gone off work right now because of my child, but I also do not take that for granted. I make sure I move important things to my calendar for the next day in order for me to execute them. And that's the same thing at home. You put things on pause, but then it's almost like you are moving the goalpost. That's not procrastination. That's actually you moving the goalpost because something that you were not expecting happened. I was trying to tell you the tip. What I do, I leave my Saturdays free. My Saturdays are for, should I say, spillovers. Really. So if I was meant to do something during the week, let's say I was meant to create some slides and I could not execute it on a particular day because something happened with a child, or maybe the homework she came home with was way too much, or traffic was really bad on that day. I came back home and I was tired and I was prioritizing rest at that season, at that time. So I move it to Saturday and I give it a time slot on Saturday. Most times I create my plan, do my planning. I start again on Friday night in order to plan for my Saturday because Saturdays for me are not every time, but most times 100% free. So I need to know what to do at that time. So I was talking about doing. Doing is the act of execution, is the act of doing that which you have said you are going to do. And when we move from doing to check, check has to do with reviews. You cannot build a mansion and then get to the roofing stage and realize that the foundation was faulty in the first place. That's why checking is important. Now, when you check, you are reviewing that activity, you are reviewing your day. Some people do it at the end of each day, which I really like doing because that helps you at that point. If something happens, something unexpected, I was giving an example of something unexpected when it comes to children, but it could also happen at work that you are focusing on something and then something unexpected happens and you are redirected. You need to be able to bounce back effectively. When you are reviewing, you need to ask yourself, what happened? Something unexpected came, right? And sometimes that's when you catch yourself procrastinating. Why didn't I do this? oh, you know what? Something must have happened. No, nothing happens. Then why didn't you do it at the right time? You should be able to ask yourself that question. Then for things that you do, you need to ask yourself, why were you that inspired to do it? What made it work? And let me give a quick example too. There was a time that I felt like I needed to grow. So I wanted to invest in my personal growth, right? And I wanted to be reading regularly, reading a book. I had to start assessing that, oh, you know what? When I put this on Monday night, and I told you I put it on Monday night, most times when I get back home, I'm tired. So is there a different thing? Maybe I should listen to a podcast on Monday night or a message on Monday night instead, because at that point, I am mentally tired, mentally, I'm exhausted and I need to be able to rest because rest is important, right? So I then say, okay, I've gone 2 weeks with this on this particular time slot and it doesn't seem to work. Can I move it somewhere else? Or what is powering, or should I say, what is powering me here? What mindset could be hindering me from actually doing this? Do I feel that, you know what, because it's not important and I don't need it? Oh, maybe I'm not going to do it. Is the book inspiring me enough? Is it engaging? Is it because the book is outside my comfort zone? Is it because it's written by a different author? Now I'm just giving you different experiences of how you can analyze why you didn't do a certain thing at the particular time. You have to go into the mindset and the subconscious conditioning. As something happened, like I'll give an example. I was given a procedure to work on at work, and for a long time I was just pushing the goalpost. Then when I sat down and I analyzed, I realized that this procedure had to do with saying that if you do not comply to the procedure, we are going to apply disciplinary measures. And I realized that I had gotten disciplined way back in the past when I was younger for things that I didn't know that I did wrong. So for some reason, I had that mental block to execute that task simply because there was a subconscious conditioning that I don't want people to get disciplined for what they actually are not aware of. So making a mistake, unconsciously, right? And I then had to put a process in place where I ensured that after the procedure was approved, then I was now doing information sessions with people just so they get it. I hope that's clear. Now, we've spoken about check. So you can always check, review the actions, ask yourself why it worked. So for those that, certain things you are realizing that you are taking this off your to-do list, you're actually doing it. You should ask yourself, why? Does it excite me? Am I passionate about this? Is it within my area of strength? Is that why I'm executing it flawlessly? How can I transfer this, should I say, and they call it transferable wisdom, right? Being able to replicate that success and take it codified and then put it in a different area that is bleeding. How can I ensure that this particular task that I've procrastinated on several times, I actually do it because I have understood the process behind this task that I've executed. Sometimes it might even be getting someone else to help you with that task or that particular thing, because it's not your area of strength, you know. And it could let's even come to wellness. And maybe you want to be taking walks every evening, and then you realize that you're not taking walks in the evening. And maybe at that point, the time that you set for it, after doing the check part and the review, you realize that the time that you set for it is actually the time you are making dinner. That happens because we've not effectively cracked that planning stage. At that point, there's no point beating yourself up. Is then what time do I have to do this? What's the other time slot? Do I make sure that I do it immediately when I get back from work before it's time to make dinner? Or do I make sure that, okay, maybe I cannot maintain weekday walks, but I can maintain a weekend walk. I can maintain a weekend going to the gym. And the same thing happens even with healthy eating, right? You have to ask yourself if that was your plan. Like sometimes we create these lovely plans, we have food timetables and things like that, but the ingredients are not readily available. And then when you get back from work, you are so tired to think about going to the shops to then buy those things. You're like, you know what, let's just drink the Fanta that is in the fridge, or let's just eat something. So you have to understand where the system fails. Because when failure occurs, and that's what we are saying regarding the plan do check, sometimes it doesn't occur immediately. Sometimes it's not even imminent. You might have built that structure till it has almost gotten to the roofing stage, and then alas, the foundation is bad. That's why it's good to consistently check so that you're not going that high, or a deadline has not crept upon you because you've consistently postponed it, right? If you are checking consistently, doing a review consistently, and then applying what you've learned from the review, which is the action part, the act part, the last part of the equation, you have to apply it. Plan, do, check, act. Act is very important. You cannot plan, do, and check, right, without acting. If you are not acting, taking the lessons from your review state and then reapplying it to the next process, you are going to be caught up in recurring mistakes. That's where people get cynical about productivity. That's where people get cynical about planning, because they are not effectively applying the lessons that they are learning, right? And I think those are key things when it comes to your living, should I say thriving beyond the workplace? Because remember, the first thing I said is that you have to understand what those core areas are. It's not just your workplace. What are the other core areas that you need to focus on? Thank you so much. That's really a summary of, should I say, productivity tips, productivity hacks that you can utilize. Remember that you have agency. You actually have the ability to do whatsoever a man thinketh in his heart, so easy. So if you feel that you can't do it, then you've already lost the battle before you even started. But if you approach it from a position of, I can do it, however, there's something within me that feels like I can't. What can I learn from that thing within me that is saying that I can't do these certain things? Or, you know what, that thing within me that is telling me that the fact that I have a job, it means I cannot focus on other areas of my life. No, you can actually have what you call a balance. And remember that I said balance is not necessarily in the middle. And when I say it's not necessarily in the middle, what I mean is I'm spending this number of hours at work, right? When I'm at work, I'm 100% at work. But when I need to be with my family, I'm 100% with my family. I'm 100% with my husband. That's not the time that I am with them. And I'm like, 1 minute, we want to watch a movie, but I'm at the movie cinemas with or at the cinema with my laptop, and I'm trying to get work done. No, I turn up 100%. The only way you can achieve that balance is by effectively planning your week. Remember the plan, do, check, act, circle. That's quite important. And then understanding what your core areas are. I hope you have a fantastic rest of, should I say the summit, just so you can enjoy what each speaker brings to you. Have a fantastic day.
Amazing, just amazing. Wow. Thank you so much, Coach Ife Freeman, for that wonderful presentation on productivity tips for thriving beyond the workplace. Wow. If you were paying attention, if you were taking notes, your notes must be full. It was so value packed, and I just wish you could keep on going, but we have to work with time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. And to Coach Ife Freeman, we want to say thank you. We love you. Thank you for honoring us with your time, for sharing from your depth of wisdom. We really appreciate you. Thank you. Now, moving on to the next item in our agenda is the next speaker. Listen, if you thought you heard value-packed tips during Coach Ife's session, wait until you hear Coach Oladoyin's session, okay? And she will be taking us on the topic personal branding for thriving beyond the workplace. Isn't that mind-blowing? Today, everyone is crazy about personal branding. We have to do it in some way. You have to be known with a brand. You have to be building your personal brand. And so Coach Doyin, in her magnanimity, has come to share with us about personal branding beyond the workplace. So before she comes on, I'm going to read her bio. Oladoyin Taiwo is a highly accomplished marketing and corporate communications leader with over 16 years of experience driving brand transformation, business growth, and social impact. In her current role, she spearheads strategic initiatives to enhance brand identity, boost audience engagement, and deliver innovative marketing solutions that align with organizational goals. Passionate about mentorship and professional development, Oladoyin is the visionary behind the Evolving Woman Academy, where she empowers individuals to excel in their personal and professional journeys. She has served as a mentor with women in management, business, and public service, and the American Marketing Association Chicago chapter, where her guidance has shaped countless successful careers. Her insights and contributions have been featured in publications like Business Day, Guardian Woman newspaper, and Leading Ladies Africa. Oladoyin's professional affiliations include the American Marketing Association and the Chartered Institute of Marketing UK membership. She has collaborated with top organizations such as the US Consulate, Africa for Her, Fifth Gear Consulting, and others, leveraging her expertise to foster growth, innovation, and impact. An Amazon published author, she has penned 4 professional books and 2 children's titles, reflecting her dedication to inspiring and educating diverse audiences. Recognized as a dynamic speaker and author, Oladoyin Taiwo is driven by her commitment to excellence, creativity, and creating meaningful change. Her work embodies a passion for equipping organizations and individuals to thrive in today's competitive landscape. And would you please, with a round of applause and a warm welcome with me, Oladoyin Taiwo.
Welcome to CBWZ Wellness Summit 2024. This is the Thrive Beyond the Workplace session, speaking about personal and professional success. And my name is Oladoyin Taiwo. I am excited to be here, and I'm very excited to be speaking to you about a topic I'm very much passionate about. Today, I'm going to be speaking to you about how to build your personal brand. And I hope that if you're new to personal branding, if you're an experienced personal branding person and you have some more information about personal branding generally, I hope you'll be able to take out 1 or 2 things that you're going to be learning from this session. And I look forward to the learning experience. I look forward to what you will learn, and I look forward to your action plans on how this is working for you. So, I'm going to start a little about speaking just generally about how you perceive personal branding before I go into the definition and the other modules that I'm going to be speaking about. So when you hear about personal branding, what comes to mind? Personal branding revolves around so many things. It's about your vision, about your personality, about your value, about your authenticity, about commitment, about differentiation. So when you think personal branding, just think of how it's like making a meal in your kitchen and you have to put all the condiments together for it to become the flavorable, juicy meal that you're about to savor. So that's how to think about personal branding. And for you to be able to arrive at that meal that you're about to savor, you need to be able to do what? Control the narratives of the things that go into your pot, from your spices to your peppers to your oil to everything that you're going to be putting into what you're cooking for you to arrive at your desired result. So that's the example that I'm going to give. If anything would not stay with you, think of personal branding in that light, as a pot of soup that you're cooking for it to arrive at your desired meal per time. So I'll go right into it and I will say to you, what would you say is personal branding? But before I go right into it, I'm going to just do a quick introduction about myself. My name is Oladoyin Taiwo, and again, and I am a marketing and corporate communications professional. I've been in this field for the last 16 years. I've done it in different industries. I currently serve as mentor at the Wimbeys Academy, or I serve as mentor at Wimbeys. I serve as mentor at the American Marketing Association of the Chicago chapter also. I've been recognized in Business Day, in Guardian newspaper, in Leading Ladies Africa, and other platforms. I've been a previous mentor also in the Leading Ladies Africa Court 1 as a mentor. I currently hold global membership in the Chartered Institute of Marketing, that's the CIM. Also for Wimbeys, I am an associate member of Wimbeys. I'm a member of the American Marketing Association of Chicago. I'm also a member of APCON, that's the Association Registered Practitioner of Advertising. So if you're wondering what qualifies me to be speaking about this topic, I know a little or more things about it as an experienced professional in that field. And I've collaborated over the years with different platforms, but to mention a few, the US Consulate, the Africa for Her, and also the Fifth Gear Consulting, amongst many others. I'm a published Amazon author, and I currently just dedicate my time to knowledge sharing and also inspiring others to be able to live a fulfilled life outside of the 9 to 5 they might have or outside of their business. My passion is committed to fostering growth, innovation, and lasting impacts while equipping organizations and also individuals with the tools to thrive in this ever-evolving world. That's why one of the reasons why I started the Evolving Woman, but that's not the reason why we're here. We're here on speaking about your personal brand and how you can build it. So I'll go right in. What do you understand when they say personal branding? What's your definition, or what would you say that you understand by that? I'll go right into just giving you that brief introduction on personal branding. This is where we're going to be starting with today before we go into how and the whys of why you need a personal brand. So personal branding, I'll say basically, as simple as can be, it's the practice of creating a unique professional identity that differentiates you from me, from others, and it highlights the value that you bring to the table per time to other individuals in your life, to other individuals outside of your work experience. And since we're talking about thriving beyond the workplace, so this is why it's important for you to also have a clear understanding of who you are and how you differentiate and values that you bring to the table. That's basically what your personal brand is about. All the other long definitions or how it seems like it's more than the way it is. It's as simple as that. It's just your differentiating factor to what differentiates you from others and the value that you have to deliver to us per time. So why does this matter? I'm sure that this is a question that you'll be like, oh, okay, here we go again. People are talking about personal branding. It matters because it helps you shape how other people perceive you, how other people think about you. And it also helps you to build credibility. It also opens so much doors of opportunities to you per time. That's the reason why personal branding matters in everything that you do, in the way you portray yourself online and offline and how you carry yourself. It's shaping narratives per time. Whether you build it, whether you don't build it, people already have a perception about who you are or what you're about. So advantages of why we need to create a personal brand. I'll just give four. There's so many benefits to it, but I'll just be giving the four that I think that is appropriate for this audience right now. So number one, it helps you in creating valuable connections. It controls your narrative per time and it demonstrates your ability and also helps you to grow your reach. So you're trying to reach out to people and people do not know who you are, but when they check for you, everybody's always checking. The first thing when you introduce yourself, Whether you like it or not, people are Googling you. If there's any word like that, they're checking for your online presence to see your digital footprint, to be able to know how they can relate with you and how they perceive you. So it's very important that per time that you have a strong understanding of why the advantages to the why of why we need to build a personal brand, so that when you're creating, you create with this in mind. So right now, I'd like you to take a pause. This will be a good part for you to bring out your pen and your paper for you to write about you, not about me, about you, because it's your personal brand we're talking about here. So how do you think that people currently, or what do you think people currently associate your name with when they think about your name? What comes to mind? When this is a self-assessment question, it's not something that I can answer for you. It's not something that your neighbor, your friends, your family can answer for you. This is what you yourself currently needs to answer in your journey to building a personal brand. So participants can answer this by themselves as an exercise. And I just want you to take out some minutes to just do that real quick before I delve into what the next thing would be in our learning process today. So now you've written that. I'm going to go into the 3 steps on how you can build your personal brand. The first thing is consistency. The second would be frequency, and the third would be visibility. When you talk about consistency, it's what makes people remember you. It's something that people need to know with you over time. The reason why we recognize so many personal brands around the world is the consistency and the intention that they have put into building it into our face to shape the narrative of which we think about them per time. So this is also very important for you as an individual to build consistency around your personal brand. The frequency would say the number of times that you appear in our faces per time. And that is how consistency is built, whether the days they feel like, whether the days they do not feel like. The people that have the strongest personal brand on earth always go for it and are consistent about the narrative that they're giving per time to shape who the professionals that they are, to shape the business people that they are, to shape everything that says about them. And visibility is very important. Leveraging the media relationships for you to also be able to share that narrative of the person that you're becoming, or the person that you think that people are worthy to receive value from. So I hope that that helps. So I put this picture here, hoping that it's going to be able to help you create a visual representative of what you need to understand when you're talking about personal branding. So the first person that I have here is the diary of a kitchen lover. Her name is Chef T. I don't know how many of you right here would know her. She always goes on Instagram, hey besties. So all of us on Instagram are bestie. And we also have followed our journey over the years, in whereby somebody started from our kitchen, cooking and showing us how to cook things that we naturally would even know or might even know, or we already cook in our house. But she consistently put out content showing showing cookwares, showing things that are basically related to her craft. And there she went on to build a personal brand for herself that she has also evolved into lifestyle now, and she has also evolved into family. So this is evolved into those aspects of her life. And this is a personal brand that she started on and she has built on. She's carried us along with her journey of also becoming a chef. When she started off, she wasn't a chef, but she just enjoyed cooking. And this is something that she has built on and turned it into a personal brand, whereby when you think about food, you think about her as the first at least top 5 in the industry. When you think and you see the next person's picture, that is Debola Williams. Debola is always known for his red art and his white agbada. That's something that he wears even to official functions, home and abroad. Debola has built his personal brand on just being a media personality outside of work. Debola has led different things. Is the I think that is part of the co-founders for the Future Awards program, the Future Awards, and is also a partner also with the red media. But outside of work, Debola has been able to build a relatable brand with the HNIs, whereby is able to penetrate into the society in a place where by when you think about some things that in terms of leadership, self-development, leadership, and all of that, you would think about his name when you're thinking about positioning and being able to take yourself further than what you do as your day-to-day workplace. And and the next person, the third person that is here on my slide will be Hilda Bassi. Hilda, all of us know her as the Guinness Book of Record winner for the year that she had. I think that was 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, that she had gone on to cook, and we all watched it live. With this has gone on to help her evolve with her brand. She's built collaborations. She's built everything just still revolves around what she's passionate about, and that is cooking. And outside of her 9 to 5, which might be her cooking in a restaurant, she has taken it on to be able to show other parts of her crafts that has also earned her so many things on the values that she brings to the table as a personal individual brand. When I think of the fourth person on this slide, that is Lai Wasabi. Lai is a comedian, is a content creator. How did Lai start? Lai also built his brand on comedy, on fun, on also making exciting content that actually builds for relaxation, for laughter, for joy. When you think about all of those things, that's who you would think of him as his brand too. The next person is Vicky James, and Vicky James here is a fashion designer that has gone on to also build a personal brand as a content creator, and also in terms of just generally showcasing herself and her husband. It's funny how much, even if you go online and there's nothing that would be said about all of these people negatively, positively, it all still contributes to their personal brand of who they are, the narrative that they're shaping online. And I would say that she's gone on to just not be the fashion designer that she is. She's gone on to start showcasing lifestyle. She's gone on to start also creating content around relationships with her husband. This is somebody that is intentional about her personal brand and how she shows up online and the narrative she's creating around the Vicky James brand. And I would say the last person would be Mama Diola. Mama Diola is somebody that musicians, actresses, actors, everybody that you would, both new generation, both old generation, have gone on to collaborate with online, because it's also a funny content creator that has also gone on to build a personal brand around comedy. So all of these people is just to juggle your mind to bring it back home as close as it can be to you in Africa, because there are other strong personal brands that I can mention. Michelle Obama, I can mention Oprah Winfrey, I can mention many other strong personal brands online. Tony Elumelo is also a strong personal brand. All of these people are strong personal brands on their own, individuals that have gone on to build something with their name to it. Some name tags, when you just hear some names, they open doors, not necessarily because of the industry that they are in, but because of the personal brand that they have built over time and the narratives they have created around their name. So right now, I'm going to be moving real fast into model 2 on how you can now craft your own brand identity based on all of what you have learned, why it's important to build a personal brand, what the meaning of a personal brand is, and examples of strong personal brands that you can relate with in your immediate environment. So moving on to how you can now create your own brand identity. The first thing that you start with is understanding what your unique value proposition is. They call it the UVP. The UVP is the unique combination of your strength, your passions, the problems that you can solve for your target audience. So you have a target audience who might be interested in just learning personal finance. I know that the Money Africa started on the platform of sourcing, also just trying to teach from the abundance of what she knew about personal finance, and she has gone on to build a business from that. So when you're thinking of your strengths, you might be good with mathematics. Some people are not. You might be gifted in accounting and how to make it easier on people. I'm sure that you know that they used to, or till now, there used to be those books called dummy for mathematics or dummy for something. That is a brand that somebody built because they knew that there was a need in the market, and the value that they brought to their target audience is a solution that they are willing to provide, as simple as it might be, because a lot of people have needs, a lot of people have things that they gravitate towards, and yours is to bring value to be able to solve that. That's basically what do people remember you for? What is your unique value proposition? What do you bring to the table when people are talking about all of this? These are things that you need to start framing in your mind when you're thinking on how to build your brand identity. I'll move on to the next thing here, and this would be finding your niche and your target audience. So your niche, basically, it might seem like you hear it a lot, but I'll just put it in simple terms. It's specifically your area of focus where your expertise shines. You've seen people that, I'll give an example of um, a musician who studied law, Fowles the bad guy. Fowles has gone on to become a musician. Fowles has gone on to become an actor. Fowles has gone on to also become an activist. Those are people that have leveraged their personal brand outside of what they studied, outside of what their expertise is. So your expertise can shine in different more areas of whatever you currently do in your workplace. Your life is not tied to that experience that's or whatever you thought you read in school, and that's what you're going to be to continue to practice all the rest of your life. If it's an area of interest, that's very exciting, and I'm very excited for that for you also. But outside of the workplace, you can also thrive in sharing those skills and sharing platforms where you can also engage with people that need that knowledge, and they see it as valuable to them to be able to reciprocate in giving you in giving you an exchange of value for the value you also bring. It could be monetarily, it could be in terms of partnership, it could be in terms of collaboration, it could be in terms of promotion also. When people see you and they see the things that you write about on the different platforms that you're engaging, they might be able to say, connect with you and be able to tell you that, oh, I think that we could do this together. So that's where your target audience comes in. It's a group of people who benefit from that offering of what you're currently offering. That is basically what you need when you are building your personal brand. Not everybody is going to gravitate towards you. So you need to find your tribe, like they always say. Finding your tribe is something that is of utmost importance to you on your journey of building your personal brand. The next thing that I will say is, what is your personal brand statement? So a personal brand statement is simply the summary of who you are, what you do, and the value that you offer. So I use this as an example for me that I currently help millennial women to master marketing and communication strategies to achieve their professional growth, to achieve their personal and professional growth. So that is who am I? I am a coach in my area of expertise, whereby who do I help? Or what do? I help them with creating tools, creating programs, and creating things that can help them to progress in their personal and professional growth life, for them to be able to position strategically and communicate their value to people per time. So that's how you can build a personal brand statement. I have resources on how you can do this, on things that you can fill out to be able to guide you towards getting this desired results if you're struggling with how to build it. But simply put, that summarizes it. It's about who you are, it's about what you do and the value that you offer. It's as simple as that. So now, how do you build a strong online presence? I would say that building a strong online presence takes conscious effort for you to be able to do. I know that there's so many things that we battle with life. Maybe some of you have children, maybe some of you have work, maybe some of you have in-laws, some of you have a busy lifestyle generally that takes you away from the online present. Don't you just be an onlooker on these platforms. Also deliver value so that people can also learn from you. People can also get something back from you in return. Don't just be somebody that just passed through the earth and nobody actually felt their impact. So it's very important for you to be able to build this strong online presence, and it takes conscious effort. That's where we talked about consistency, frequency, and visibility. That is where all of this comes to tying together. So right now, I would say that when you want to start considering this, you have to know which platform should you focus on. So choose platforms where you have your target audience. We've talked about you building your niche. Where my target audience is might not be where your target audience is, depending on the kind of brand persona that you want to be able to share and the narrative you want to put out there for whatever it is that you enjoy to do in your field of expertise or whatever value that you bring to the table. E.g., LinkedIn, as we all know, is for professionals, and Instagram, Facebook, and TikToks is for the creative industry. So you need to be able to focus on the platform that best serves you, focus on it, and then you can then begin to build based on the audience that you have gained, and then be able to diversify after a period of time. So what does an optimized profile look like? I know that now you have this platform that you have chosen and to be able to be there, but it's very important for you to have an optimized profile. And this is what it looks like. It's your online CV, it's your online resume that doesn't necessarily be that one that you submit to recruiters per time, but this is a clear picture of people understanding the value that you bring. When they Google you, they're able to say, oh, this is what this person does, and this is the value that the person brings to the table as a professional or as a business owner. So this is you need a clear profile picture. An headshot, I always advise, an headshot is always a game changer. You don't want to use a picture of a selfie in a car. You don't want to use a picture that you just took randomly at an event and cut people out and put it. People will perceive you in a certain way that you do not want to be perceived. Headshots are always the best way to optimize and to show yourself as a person of value online. It might, for you, you might think, oh, it's not a big deal. I am judging you. I know that there's currently a challenge going on online that says we listen and we don't judge. As long as people are listening to you, they are judging you in one way or the other. So it's very important for you to control the narrative of how you show up online. So a clear profile picture, headshot is a must for you if you want to build a strong online personal brand. A compelling headline explaining that personal statement, who you are, who you serve, and the value that you bring to the table. When you tie all of this together in your bio, it has to have a concise summary that once I pick it up, I know who you're about and what you're about, and I'm able to see the value that you can deliver to me per time. I hope this helps you in clarifying how you can optimize your profile. If you want all of this in details also, you can speak to me. We can walk through for your own one-on-one personal for your own personal walkthrough on how you're able to optimize per person. So what should you post online? It's something that I've always heard in my career. Oh, I don't know how to do it. It happens to executives. It happens to people in midlife career, mid-level career. It happens to even beginners. I've spoken to many mentees. I've spoken to people that are ahead of me, like in the C-suites, people in the VP, director, CEO positions, and they still do not know what to post. As long as there's been something called social media online, people still struggle with it. And you would be very surprised that it's people that do not even understand how to navigate this, so they throw it out totally. So I'll say that focus on content pillars. There's something that we call content pillars, the topics that currently aligned with the expertise that you're trying to showcase online, the expertise that it's outside your workplace, or the expertise that is even within your workplace that you can thrive with, something you enjoy to talk about. Choose a platform where you want to talk about this and aim to consistently post. So for like a LinkedIn platform now, you can think of posting twice a week, maybe the first day of the week and the last day of the week, for you to be able to share what you know as an expert. And the other platforms, those ones require very more steady consistently, because every day people are churning out, people are churning out content, and you don't want to be lost in the sea of all of the noise online. So you have to be more consistent depending on where your target audience is. You need to be able to batch your content and be able to schedule them per time for people to be able to see what you have and the value that you bring to the table. The next thing, that's about on what you should post and how often. So be careful also not to overshare online. There's always data privacy. There are other issues that people are dealing with. So what you feel most comfortable dealing with in expressing in terms of experiences, in terms of knowledge, are things that you should be sharing depending on your target audience. So I would say, now let's do an audit about you. Still, I said it's your personal brand we're building, not mine. So what is your current bio saying about you, and how can you improve it? This is a self-assessment. You need to pause. You need to be able to take some time, and you need to be able to reflect and evaluate your current bio and optimize it based on this lesson learned today. So what does an optimized bio mean? I've already spoken about that. That came out as a double slide. So I'm going to be moving into So excuse me while I took that out. So I'm just going to be going into the next module now. It's talking about amplifying your influence. And when I talk about amplifying your influence, now you know how to build a personal brand, you know what it's about, you know the things, the ingredients that you need to put together to cook this our pot of soup that I've been describing from the beginning of this session. So now let's know how to amplify that influence that you are now gathering in terms of building your personal brand. So how can you network effectively? Part of the things on how to navigate building your influence is engage authentically. Be you all of the time. Do not pretend to be who you are not online. And then when you get home, you're somebody else. You're doing yourself a disservice. So per time, think of how you want to be perceived, and continue to grow and evolve into that person on how you show up and who you want to be and the value that you want to consistently deliver, because this is how people are going to choose whether they want you in their network or not. So engage authentically on social media. When you're giving your comments, your feedback, ensure that you do not go in ways that people begin to perceive you in a way that is not you. Always engage to the best of your ability for the kind of person that you want to show up as online. Join relevant communities, attend industry events, and follow up consistently with people per time. When you meet people, do not just socialize, ensure that you network. And how do you do that? What's the difference? Socializing is, oh, hi, I met you today, da, 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 da. And then afterwards, what do you do with those cards? You do not follow up. You just keep it, gather it, it continues to stack up at home. And by now, oh, you have pictures with all of these people, but you do not have them in your network. So be intentional and ensure that when you are communicating in these communities, engage, and deliver value in your engagement. So, how do you use storytelling to also connect? Share personal experiences. Like I said, do not overshare, but you can share personal experiences. So, I recently just got back from a trip back in my home country, Nigeria. I'm currently based in Chicago, and I'd written on LinkedIn on how I was able to learn a marketing professional lesson from a trip that I went for that was a personal trip, and I brought it home together. That's an experience for me that I still got to share and tied it up with my expertise in how that lesson benefited me. I didn't have to overshare, oh, this was all happened when I went on this trip and did. No, you just keep it sweet and simple. Tie it together and put your expertise together in sharing your personal experiences, relating it to your expertise per time. Do not overshare. The internet does not forget. So you could also share lessons learned. You could also share the authentic challenges to build trust over time with your perceived target audience. How do you secure collaboration? Now you have a personal brand, you know what to do with it. Then how do you then secure it? Proactively pitch to individuals, businesses, podcasts, webinars, blogs, or anything by highlighting the value. I've said repeatedly in this, the value that you bring to the table is what determines your personal brand, and it determines the longevity of who you are and how people continue to perceive you over a long period of time. Finally, I would say develop an elevator speech. You know, they always say when you get into an elevator, it takes seconds for you to go from the first floor to whatever floor that you're going into. So imagine that you've always wanted to meet this person. How do you describe yourself and how do you sell the value that you bring? Ensure that you make it concise, introduce who you are, what you do, and why it matters, and why you're introducing it. Because you might just be the solution that that person has been looking for. You might be that value that that person has been missing, or that ingredient in that soup that we've been cooking that is missing for it to be the most tasteful soup that you've ever experienced or other people have ever experienced. Think of it as you're taking it now out to people. You've experienced it, you know the value that you bring in this soup. It tastes so nice to you. But now we're relating it to other people outside. So you need to be able to add this together and think of it as how you show up and how you want to introduce yourself um in quick way to market yourself. So, hi, my name is, I specialize in helping professionals or business people optimize their brand online to attract more opportunities. That is just an example of how you can introduce yourself to people per time. So I hope that you've been able to learn in this short session that we had together today, and we've been able to cook our pot of soup together in engaging on how to thrive outside of the workplace. I hope that you've been able to learn something valuable and you can tie it on how to build your personal brand step by step. But if you need more professional, detailed help, I would say that I have the ways that you can contact me. And before we do that, I'm just going to wrap up. What are the action steps that you would be taking immediately after all that you have heard from this session today? What do you think you'll be doing differently to be able to help you build the narrative and build and take your personal brand to the extent that you want it to go. So participants, you need to decide on the tasks like optimizing your LinkedIn profile or drafting a brand statement. There are different exercises that I've mentioned earlier. Those are things that you can go back to and walk through and be able to see how this has been impactful to you. I look forward to listening to your testimonials. I look forward to any experience that or a light bulb moment that this has brought to your mind. Let me know by engaging me on any of my social media platforms. I currently go by Profit with Doing on Instagram and on Thread, and also on Facebook or anywhere that you find me. If you need more help with your personal brand, you can contact me. My email address is profitwithdoing@gmail.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn, whereby you can also engage with me. I've put the the LinkedIn link there where you can get in touch with me. I hope and I that this has been very beneficial to you, as I've been excited to share with you. I shared this in the very simplest layman's understanding of personal branding and how you can tie it and make practical steps to building your own personal brand. And I hope this has been valuable. Thank you and enjoy.
Thank you so much, Coach Oladoyin Taiwo. We are super blessed. You shared with us, we've written down lots of things. This was value packed, and we cannot wait to go over our notes again or go over the recording again. Thank you so much, ma'am. We truly appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for honoring our invitation to be at the Wellness Summit 2024. We are truly grateful. And would you just thank her for me in the comments? Tell her thank you, give her an emoji, give her whatever emoji shows your appreciation. Please use that in the chat. Thank you so much. All right, now I'll be moving on to the next item on the agenda. I'll be bringing our delectable founder to talk to us about wellness, but this time around, giving us a more holistic view on workplace wellness, financial wellness, mental and holistic wellness in general. And without further ado, welcome our coach, Olubukola Ogunwale.
Hello and welcome back. It's been such a journey. We've learned from the erudite Coach Joy. She has literally taught us how to profit with her. If you know, you know. All right. So thank you so much, Coach Doing. Thank you for that teaching. We are wise. We pay attention. We are going to prioritize our personal branding. We're going to show up as we should, and we're going to make, a meaning out of our lives beyond the workplace. We're going to rule and to, be the best, rise to the very top in the workplace, and we're going to rise to the very top in all the other areas of life. Thank you. Thank you, Coach Ife. Thank you so much. You have taught us how productive, you have simplified and broken down productivity for us. And we will not forget, we're going to start to embrace all of the tips, techniques, and tools that you have handed over to us. And we know that we are going to have, favorable outcomes from these sessions. Thank you, Coach Adela. You have carried us from one session to the other, handing us off to the next person, and just ensuring that we're all carried along. Thank you for sharing your impactful story with us, and we are appreciative. All right, so I promised to come back to you to share the 5 things that an employee must pay attention to if they are going to prioritize their well-being in this day and age. And the first thing is that you must take charge of your time. And that's why I gave you that assignment that I gave you before I left earlier. And the assignment again was that you should list out the areas of life and relationships that are important to you, and write for me on the other side what time allotment you have been putting into each of those so far. So look at it for me. And I told you that if it's lopsided and you're favoring one part of life more than the other, it means that the other parts are suffering. And the goal is to actually arrive at a balance where you're putting commensurate time into each area as important. The time you're putting into each area will show us how important they are to you. I hope you understand that. So share for me, even as I continue to teach you, share for me in the comment section what your graph is looking like, what's your figures looking like, what does it look like you have prioritized so far, and what do you want to prioritize alongside going forward. So it doesn't mean that you become less passionate about your job, because what you'll find is that most people have put in like 80%, 90% in their work. And for instance, you could say, oh, I spend more time at home than I spend at work. But do you spend more productive, creative time at home? Do you spend, sufficient awake moment at home? Because for someone that says, oh, once I close from work at 5 p.m., I just go home, I don't do anything else. And I'm at home till 7 a.m. the next day when I have to get up and go to work again. And while all of that is good, what if when you get home at that 5 p.m., 5:30, 6 p.m., you're already so drained and so tired, and you just sit down, plop down in front of your TV, get a nice bowl of Eba or whatever comfort food that you eat, and eat yourself to stupor. That's what some people do. In fact, some people would have bought the meat pie on the way home so that as they're getting home like this, they can start to just demolish their comfort food and encourage themselves as they are eating it that, oh, I can't kill myself. Life must go on. I have to make myself happy, and all of the other things that you tell yourself. So are you spending alert moment at home? Are you or your children knows that they should go upstairs or go to their rooms when you're around because you're just cranky? It's been a long day at work and you're taking it out on everyone in the house. So we need to do things differently. If you need to zone out maybe the first 30 minutes to 1 hour of coming back from work, fine. Let everybody know in the house that there's a rule. Once I come back, nobody disturbs me. I take a bath, I refresh, I refuel myself, and just get yourself in the right frame of mind, and then have like another 1 hour that you're spending with your children, that you're spending with your spouse, to connect, because family is important. If you're living with parents, that time that you're connecting with your parents or you're connecting with your friends, okay? So we need to network, we need to have relationships. All your relationships don't have to just be at work. And for some people, oh, of course, you still have relationships in church, and you have relationships in the neighborhood, the association, landlords association, or whichever WhatsApp group that you have. But what about the future that you're dreaming of, or you're not dreaming of that future yet? What about the future you're dreaming of? Who are the people that are relevant to that future? How are you getting in touch or staying in touch with them? This is how we expand our scope, so that whatever it is you have been given 90% of your time, you reduce it to say 60, 70%, and you can take a 10% from there and invest it into building future relationships of value. You take another 10%, you invest it into building a life of legacy, and being able to give back to the society. You take another few percentage, you put it in your spouse, you put it in your children, you put it in your parents, and you are actually a present family member for your family. All right. So you must take charge of your time, because your time is your life. This time next year, 365 days have not only gone by, but 365 days of your lifetime is actually gone. So your time is your life. It is what will save people from working the same job day in, day out, waiting around for promotion that is few and far in between. And one day they're like, what? I've spent 20 years in this organization and you're not at the top yet. What's happening? So this is what will rescue you. This is what will save you. This is what will help you. So start to learn time blocking, prioritize your self-care, prioritize being there for the people that love you and the people that you love. Okay, take control of your time so that you can be a better person, not just at work, but also at home. The second thing that I want you to pay attention to is that you must consistently, daily, weekly analyze your mindset. Your mindset is your state of mind. How are you looking at things? How are you looking at it? What's your current perspective? This same job that you were so excited to have 5 years ago, and the day you got your offer letter, you went and gave testimony in church. You actually you jumped for joy. You sent messages and calls, made calls to all your friends. I got a job, and it is in this particular organization. I'm so excited. And then 5 years down the line, you are literally afraid to dress up and go to work. You're literally afraid to join your online daily work meetings. What has changed? What has changed? So you must examine your mindset and keep asking yourself, has anything changed? Or have I been a victim of, gossip and toxic culture? Because what a person is happy with, they can suddenly become unhappy with it because they heard something. So sometimes you will hear something, and while you feel bad about it, it is not primarily your business. So maybe you hear, oh, the MD just bought a yacht. Is that what it's the MD just bought a yacht, and you're like, and the person that told you was like, no, wow, they can't even pay us good salary, but they're amassing fortunes for themselves. Do you know that he even has a house in the Maldives? Do you know this, that? And before you know it, you start to look at your MD in that light. Come on. Has your salary reduced? No. In fact, maybe you were even promoted, but you're like, how much did they even add to my salary with this promotion? When they are busy buying this and buying that. So if we're not careful, our mindsets can shift, our perceptions can shift, and this can affect how we show up. This can affect your level of joy and your level of satisfaction and happiness on the job. So you must make sure that your perception of your work is always the right one, that enhances your productivity, that you have the right mindset that is going to significantly impact your work experience positively. Even if you're like, I want to change jobs, until your last day on the job, you must keep finding reasons to be grateful for that job and to say it's paying my salary currently, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm this and I'm that. And when you change your perspective like that, you reframe your perspective like that, you will actually start to see the good that is in the organization for you, and you will start to stop being, cranky and being, this person that looks down on everything and talks down on everything, because nobody is going to put that person in a leadership position. And even when opportunities come, nobody's going to hand it over to that kind of person. So again, we attract what we think, we attract what we say. So I want you to always look beyond the issues and the challenges at work, and to actually rise into what is good about this organization. I'm going to focus on that. And when I get an opportunity to say my mind about what is wrong, then I will say it. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on doing my job and taking the good that is available to me in this organization. So shifting your mindset will open doors to new opportunities in your career. The third thing that I want to talk to us about is that you must own your career. You must own your career, okay? You must take the initiative for your career growth. You mustn't wait for opportunities to come to you. You must go looking for the opportunities that you desire. We're beyond those days where you just spend 2 years doing the same thing and expect to be promoted to the next level because they move everybody at the same time. No, you must show that you have what it takes for the next level. You must show capacity. You must start to operate on the level that you want to be promoted to. In fact, you must start to show up with so much knowledge, skill, and solutions for the organization that it will not be out of place if they actually pick you to lead the team that implement a solution that you brought on board. Okay, so start thinking multiple promotions, start thinking leadership opportunities in a parallel field because you saw something that was wrong and you knew the solution to it. Okay, so do not own your career. You must own your career. You must find what courses do you need to take, what opportunities, what trainings do you need to go for, what networking bodies do you need to join. Those are very important for career growth. All right, so for your wellness, of course, because every time a person just does what they're told and expects to be rewarded for it, and the company says, look, We're not going to reward you for doing just what you're told. You have to bring more on board. And this person starts to query and to question their own capabilities. And of course, this becomes a wellness issue because the person is now mentally unwell, unhappy, stressed out, frustrated, in fact, feeling picked on at times. All right, so you don't want that person to be you. Own your career, be the architect of your own career, and build a skyscraper. Let nothing stop you until you are the best. You are the best in town, you're the best around, you're the best everywhere. You're the best locally, you're the best globally. Okay? When you've done that, the fourth thing to do then is to be proudly show off who you are, to proudly represent and say, I am the best. So once you become the best, you have to actually come out and say, I am the best. The workplace of today is not keen on people who are, self-effacing, people who shrink when the limelight shines on them. So no matter your personality type, you must find a way to blow your own horns. You must find a way to showcase your successes. So while some people who are outspoken are going to show up at meetings and show up on YouTube and on Instagram and TikTok, telling you how they are the very next best thing, apart from your favorite meal, there's still options for people who are like, oh, I'm so quiet, I don't even like to be seen, I don't like to talk. You can go write it on LinkedIn. Okay, you can go write it on LinkedIn, you can put it on your WhatsApp status. You have to it is for your own good. Okay, and this is not even, it's beyond, oh, what if you lose your job and you have not put yourself out there, then nobody will know you were a high flyer in your organization. No, it's beyond that, because the world has become a global village. You find out that the people who global opportunities come to are the people who talk about what they're doing, talk about their achievements. They put themselves on the global timeline. They give themselves the gift of visibility, and the global platforms reward them for it. So stop being a fish in a pond that is within the ocean. The entire ocean is there for you to explore. So stop living just within the pond that you are in. Go explore, put yourself out there, learn from others, teach others, and just go be great. The fifth thing, I promised you five things. The fifth thing, and we cannot not talk about this. I've mentioned it partially, but we have to still mention it, is that you must prioritize your physical health. You must prioritize your physical health. Physical health includes movement, includes nutrition, includes self-awareness. So it's not just, oh, I'm going to work out. You have to work out, you have to be active. For some people, if you just take walks every day, every other day, that will be enough for the season of life you're in. Some people, you actually have to come to the gym, you have to actually hit the gym. For some other people, you have to do weight training. For some people, you have to, do cardio. Some people, you're going to have to turn on the YouTube workout coach every day and do what you need to do. But whatever you do, never stop moving. Be active. So beyond movement, nutrition, you must always make sure you feed your body what helps it to achieve its goal, to achieve your purposes for it. You must be kind to your own body. Don't wait until a life-changing event occurs. Don't wait until you have a health scare. Just force yourself to take care of this body that you have, because there are no replacement. Even spare part replacement for body is very expensive and hard to find. Okay, so you nurture the one that the Lord gifted you with. All right. Also, when we're talking about physical fitness, physical wellness, you have to understand and identify the connection between your mind, your body, your soul, of course your spirit. I'm going to always go there, because your spirit is your connection to God. Okay, so as a faith-based coach, I'm going to always talk about this. You have to have an anchor. You have to have God as that anchor. You have to have him as that stabilizing force, as that person, as that being that holds you steady, that steadies you. There must be him that you talk to when you're encountering issues on the job. It must be him that you talk to when it feels like, what am I doing with my life? And you must have faith that is going to help you, is going to fix you, and is going to give you the answers that you crave. Okay? So spiritual wellness is a thing, and it's something that you must crave and you must prioritize and you must go for at all times. All right. So for physical wellness, for some people, there's gym in your workplace. Your workplace has subscribed to a gym for you under your HMO. You must take advantage of these opportunities. Okay. Some workplaces, we talked about ergonomic workstations, we talked about stretch zones, we talked about prompters, activity prompters, active break prompters. All right, you can look into walking meetings where people go for a walk and they're having their meeting as they're walking. So you want to look into all of those options in order to stay, stay healthy, stay active. Okay, and for people who sit for long, I want you to prioritize micro movements. I want you to prioritize micro movements. So the exercises you can do while sitting at your desk. First off, you must make sure that your workstation is ideal for your body, is ideal for your build. You must make sure, one of the things that I researched and discovered is that when you're looking at your workstation like this, that's the proper way. When you look like this, when you have to lift your neck, you're putting pressure, you're putting a load on your back and your neck muscles and bones. And that especially when you have to look down towards your laptop like this, uh, the load that you're putting increases based on the level of, tiltedness that your head has. So if you just look a bit down, I think that's about five kgs, as if you have carried 5 kg of load on your head. And then if you look a bit more, 10 kg, when you have to look all the way down like this at your laptop all day, you're putting up to 20 kg or 22 kg, I think, of load on your head. So every time you're bending, hunched over your laptop or even your phone and you're going and going, just remember that it is equivalent to carrying a bucket of water or a keg of water that is 22 kg. uh, and for some people, they do this for long. You're on social media platforms, you're scrolling and scrolling, and your neck is down, your head is down. You have to have the right posture. You have to stop it today and actually embrace the right posture. So all of these tips, they're desk exercise. The exercises you can do at your desk. You can literally sit, stand, you can turn to the right, turn to the left, you can do this, lift, go down, you can look sideways, you can get your palms and stretch them towards away from you and bring them back and stretch the different things that you can do while sitting at your desk. And this is not just even for office people. You work from home, sometimes you're sitting awkwardly, you're lying down on your bed, your posture is wrong, and you're just trying to get through the day. No, actually get up and sit at your work desk and get work done and do stretches while you're at your work desk. Okay, I could show us many more, but I'm limited with my current space. You could stand and hold the back of your chair and actually get some squats in, get some, get your knees bent and all of that, and just do the exercises that are going to make sure that your body keeps going. Some of these techniques are good not just for, oh, I want to work out, but they're great for energy, they're great for posture correction and all of that. We've talked about meals briefly. Eat the right thing, you're working. You're working, buy good food, buy healthy food, all right? Buy healthy food. Stop eating when you're frustrated. Plan your meals in advance, okay? Plan your meals in advance. Have different foods that are already half prepared so that once you're hungry, you get up to eat. There's something you can immediately start to eat. It could be Greek yogurt and a handful of nuts. Have it on standby so that you don't just grab the next cake or the next bread and just start eating unhealthy and going on a rampage. Okay, we talked about, and I'm just going to start to zone it out and to summarize. We talked about wellness, with physical wellness. We talked about mental wellness, how a fit body is not equal to a mentally well body. So you must have, mental health conversations. You must normalize having to talk about how you feel in your mind. You must have stress management techniques, breathing exercises, stretches. If you have to download a mindfulness app, go ahead and do so. For some people, it's journaling, they have to dump all of the thoughts in their minds, everything that is fighting for attention, they have to dump it on paper, and then they can start to see patterns emerging. So if that is you, then go ahead and get your journal and get stuff done. One of the things you're going to realize the moment you start working out is that it helps you build resilience. Working out actually helps you build mental resilience. So I want you to work on building resilience. I want you to work on shifting your mindset from problem focused to solution focused, solution oriented. That's what I want you to do. And I want you to have a can do attitude. I will do it. I can do it. I can do it. I will do it. I must do it. And for you to be so tenacious that you don't stop until it is done. Because if you actually believe you can do it, then you can do it. We talked briefly about financial wellness and how, you shouldn't get carried away with the day to day of work and the spending of the salary as it comes in, but you should plan for your future. You should secure your financial future, all right, so that financial worries are not going to add to the mental health concerns that people would typically have. So financial insecurity is not good, especially when you're working. You're just like, I'm working, but as the money is coming, it's going. So let me explain this to you this way: that you are the manager at your job and you know everything about data analytics does not mean that you are a guru at financial management. So if you need to go register for a class on investing, a class on building wealth, then you must go ahead and do that so that you can become a manager at managing your money as well. All right. So I won't say much more than that for now, but you must learn the basics of investing, compounding interest, mutual funds, diversification, what is working, what doesn't work anymore, what is old school but still works, what is new school, what is it? It's just a shiny object syndrome. You must learn all of these things, okay? So you must look at every area of your life and say, what is stressing me out the most? And then you go get the knowledge that helps you to move away from being stressed out by it to providing solutions that help you manage it. You are actually in charge of your life. I know we say that a lot, and so it is easy to overlook it when you hear you're the manager of your own life. No, but you are. So if there's a part of your life that is confusing and making you unwell, then you have to zone in and ask yourself, what do I need to do to fix this? What practical steps do I need to do to sort this out? You must be that person. So, wellness, as I round up, wellness is not just an initiative, it is a mindset, it is a lifestyle, it is a successful lifestyle. So, you must chase it with the same drive, with the same vigor that you chase every other thing that is important to you. You must chase it and say, I choose wellness. I choose wellness. I'm not going to be one of those people that because they worried too much when they were young, they grew up having to have hypertension and they had to manage it with drugs. I'm not going to be one of those people that because they didn't work out when they were younger, they now have to manage arthritis. I'm not going to be those people who, because they refuse to have savings when they're young, have to now go and queue up at the pension office for peanuts. I choose not to be one of those people. You fill in the gap of what you are not going to be, all right? So I want you to commit to that and say, these are the things I'm struggling with when it comes to my wellness, and these are how I'm going to fix it. These are how I'm going to work on it. And as I close out this morning, I want to encourage you that a thriving workplace is built on thriving individuals. So you must thrive as an individual. You must choose intentionally to thrive. And if you're a business leader, you must embrace, you know, wellness programs that help your people thrive, because when they thrive, the organization is going to thrive. So thank you once again for being a part of the Wellness Summit 2024. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for staying with us, for commenting the chats. Thank you for listening intently. And I trust that you have learned a number of things that you're going to implement in the coming days. All right, so I'm going to be giving this back to our compare, Coach Adela, for her to round us up and to get us out of here. But thank you. I really appreciate you. To each of our speakers, thank you once again. Thank you. You brought so much, wisdom. You brought so much efficacy. You brought so much, just practical knowledge that helps move us from where we currently are to the next place. And I'm grateful for that. On behalf of all the attendees, we say thank you. Thank you, Coach Adela. Thank you, Coach Ife. Thank you, Coach Doi. And from me to everybody, I will see you at Wellness Summit 2025. Goodbye for now. This is Coach B, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Wow, what a day, what a day, what a day. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone for joining. We want to say a special thank you to our speakers, Coach Oladoyin Taiwo, Coach Ife Freeman, and our beautiful and amazing host, Coach Olubukola Ogunwale. And guess what? We want to thank you as well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for paying attention to your wellness and taking your wellness seriously. Thank you, Coach B, for sharing with us about financial wellness, mental wellness, holistic wellness, and all types of wellness in general. God bless you. I'd like to invite you to join our mailing list. We will be opening our flagship course titled Optimize Wellness for High-Performing Professionals in 2025 in the first quarter of 2025. So if you know that you want to take things a step further and improve your wellness in every area, then you need to pay attention. Watch out for the email that we will be sending with the link to join our flagship course, Optimize Wellness for High-Performing Professionals, starting first quarter in 2025. So we encourage you to get on board, jump on that wagon so that you too can see excellence in your wellness. So for now, we want to say thank you so much for attending the Wellness Summit 2024 and see you in the Wellness Summit 2025.